Is this just an outward-facing restructure of how it presents numbers? What is the goal here?
It's a very interesting reordering of how they present their earnings, and a lot of that stems from the frustration inside Goldman Sachs, its top management, that they're not getting the credit that they think they deserve for how the bank is performing. Part of that is on them. They've had this reputation of being a bit of a black box when it comes to understanding how the firm makes money.
Yeah.
So there is a bit of a change here. It's not a dramatic reordering. It's only really of interest for people who dive into their earnings quarter after quarter. But for the close observers, it does provide new tools to better analyze the bank's performance.
I remember like a year or two ago, my mailbox was just like flooded with these Marcus advertisements to get you to sign up for something. What is sort of the consumer side of Goldman now? And are these changes sort of being done to reflect a little bit more of their ambitions in that space?
Oh, absolutely. So part of the changes, of course, is to try and provide more granularity into the various divisions. But they're also breaking out this foray into consumer banking. Remember, now that's a part where they have this online lending business, Marcus. They have the tie-up with Apple through credit card, and they have several other plans here to sort of get big in that space. If you start to look under the hood with each earnings release and expect to see a pot of gold in consumer banking, that's not going to happen just yet. But then you also have to trust their CEO, David Solomon, when he says these things take a lot of time to build. He often touts the aspect that, look at our asset management business. It took a couple of decades for it to become a giant, and that's the hope of consumer banking.
So I don't totally get it then. If it's still this sort of small thing that's not moving the needle very much in the grand scheme of things, why do they think just changing how they report earnings will suddenly earn them all this more cred from investors?
Well, slightly two different things. With consumer banking, it's a long-term growth plan. You now have metrics to measure their growth, see how they're performing and how they sort of scale in that aspect of it. But with respect to the broader changes, you have to understand that this stock has underperformed its peers for the last few years, honestly. Throughout almost all of last year, they were trading below book value. There are other factors weighing on the stocks, such as the outcome of the 1MDB scandal. And you also had analysts and investors who were sort of put off by volatility in one of their most profitable business lines, that is investing and lending, and they didn't know how to measure it. Goldman's saying, we'll take you behind the curtain, we'll give you more granularity, more detail into how we make money, so that, especially with their pivot to more fee-producing businesses rather than ones where they're making big money of their own investments, and that's the goal here for them.